think
No, most
you
people
have to come to grips with it. You have to come, or you don't come to peace with it and you die. But
no, but you'll suffer more for not being at peace with it. It just creates more
yeah,
suffering. It's almost like you can become aware of it and incorporate it as part of the beauty of life. Whereas right now in America, I keep saying America, it's just our instinct, I guess, that death is bad and life is good, and we have to start thinking of it as two sides of the same coin. It's like we have a limited amount of time. That's what makes it good.
yeah.
It's not good if it goes forever.
I was about to cope,
So at some point, someone has to
Cope.
die. Like, you have to die.
cope.
What are you going to be, one of these live forever people?
No, I'm not going to, because I don't think you. I think it's foolish. I think you're chasing the holy grail, just a wild goose chase. But I also think it's a cope to be like, oh yeah, what do I want? Live forever? No, I love the idea of death. No, that's a cope.
It's not a cope. It's like you're
I think it
submitting to it. You're basically saying there's no way out of it. So
But
There's
that's
no
the
excuse.
definition of a coping strategy. So if somebody dies in your life, you eventually realize they're just dead. I'm going to live with it. So you go, okay, I guess I have to accept that's a part of life and they had a good life. That is a cope, but it doesn't mean it's bad to cope. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
if your point is what makes life beautiful is that you die, I disagree. I think what makes life beautiful is life. And I think what makes death sad is death, that life ceases because life is not good for everyone, but as a whole,
can't have
there are
life without
super
sad.
beautiful parts of life, right? There's sad parts,
Yeah.
but life is a beautiful thing. And for me, I think coping was just realizing the inevitability of death and coming to grips with that in my own way. I think for me, it's partly a religious thing. So I don't know. I don't know if people want to hear about that, but
no, it's us. What's the
no, I say I'm public about it. I'm a Christian, but so I think coming more to grips, to root with my faith, I think helped with my fear of death. I think it would have been. I'm very grateful that I have that. That I was.
Do you think you'll live? You're gonna go. You go to heaven and you live forever.
I think.
A lot of Christians have a belief in the logos, and that is more. There's like a man in the God philosophy, and then there's this logos that Christians believe in. In Judaism, they call it Ein Sof. It's like this loving energy, and you go back into that.
All I was gonna say is I just don't know about there's a very Americanized idea of heaven, which I don't know
Yeah.
if it sounds like a Make-A-Wish thing. It's just like you go on a golden streets or whatever. Like I don't think that's actually.
Yeah,
I think if there's an afterlife, which I guess I believe there is, I don't think it's gonna be our human conception of what. Like I think we just have a human thing of like, yeah, my life's gonna be sick, and I'm gonna go drink with the boys, and I'm gonna be playing like poker in heaven, and I don't think that whatever it is, I don't think it's gonna be that.
It is like a sense of I'll be a millionaire. Like even if I don't make it to being a millionaire here, then heaven will be like I'm a millionaire. So
Yeah, I think people just fill it for. If my life sucked here, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
be like, I'm gonna be a super billionaire, and I'm gonna be super powerful, and
So that's interesting. So
I don't know. I'm just very.
It's interesting. Most
I'm-
people don't think about that. You know,
Most people what?
I find with that whole conception of is God one person in the sky or this kind of energy thing that a lot of religions believe in. I feel like I believe in that. And when you talk to people about it, they end up in a gray area that's somewhere in between, not necessarily like a clear view of, no, it's a man in the sky. It's usually people are like, no, it's not a man in the sky. It's more, yeah, it's like a loving energy, or there's that kind of feeling of it. And then, so the idea that you would be given a bunch of stuff and like 76 virgins or whatever, it doesn't really make sense because it's like you're going to something beyond that. It's not going to be like, oh, you get to be a millionaire now.
Yeah, I don't think consciousness ends after life, and but yeah, I just don't know what the shape of it looks like afterwards. But yeah, I have some kind of Christian conception of it. I don't know. I feel like I'm coming more around. I'm just doing like an inward search in that way.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough to talk about online because we live in like a prove it, bro. Hey, you think
Yeah.
there's a ball of energy in the sky? Prove it, bro. It's all right. That's
Yeah,
not my. I'm not here to convince anybody, but I also think life is too strange and too serendipitous for me to think that happenstance is not also crazy. So I think all the ideas, everybody's like explanation for, oh yeah, it just was this. I think everyone's idea is like wild. And I think you just have to go, okay, which wild story am I subscribing to?
Yeah. Yeah, you pick whatever you want. No, and I do think we don't talk about it enough here. Like it is very like, oh, what do you like? Especially Christianity. I find that if I say anything good about Jesus, a lot of my white friends will be like, come on, what are you getting into that? The liberal doesn't love God anymore. So they'll be like, what are you getting into that stuff? And it's good, man. It's the same as Buddhist. It's very similar. A lot of Christ consciousness teachings, Gospel of Thomas, even these Rosicrucians I've been reading up on, it's exactly the same as Buddhism, loving kindness. They basically have that department in every religion. A lot of there's all these Catholic meditations I've been doing. They're incredible. But you can just find it inside of the religion. It's not necessarily like one discovered it, one didn't. You go in and find your own thing. But I do find that everyone has that theory. People call it non-duality, but it's basically like this idea that everything is God. The Sufis have this poem, not poem, but like they have a quote they say, "La Allah il Allah, isness itself is God." So like we're inside of God, and every particle is God, and we're like living through a simulation of the Most High. Something
See,
like
even
that.
when I talk about this stuff, my head just starts to go, I don't know.
Prove it.
Not even that, but there are some things which are not easily expressed with words. And we live, and I just, I guess you can leave it at that. There's some things that are almost too profound to be cheapened with words, which is hard.
Yeah.
I feel like when I was younger, I would hate that. I would hate to hear that sentence. I'd be like, no, everything can be formatted and formulated with words. And if it can't be, it's not worth talking.
And the moral of the story is, you are loved because you are loved. Such is the nature of loving kindness. Okay? So now that I've done my karmas, make sure you do your karmas, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and sign up for meditation. Ascension is upon us, foolish! Sign up for meditation immediately! Ha! Am I still here?